I want to ask that. I have chosen John.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
ma'am, what to do
So,
in these type of cases?
okay. So, see, basically, what your professor is saying, you have to either agree or disagree to that first. Okay. So, here
Okay.
he's saying, what factor do you think has contributed the most to the increase in life expectancy, correct? So
Yes, ma'am.
here Lisa is saying, I think the main reason why people are living longer nowadays is recent advances in medical technology. Modern medicine has enabled us to better treat and manage chronic illnesses, and there have been major breakthroughs in areas such as cancer. Okay, so as a result, so she agrees and she is giving her pointers, she is giving examples, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And here, this is an open-ended question. It's not agree or disagree question also as such, if you
Exactly.
go to see. Correct? So you will give only your pointers and add on to whatever someone has said over here. Okay.
No,
Say,
like
hmm,
if I'm choosing John, then
hmm.
how should I continue about Lisa? Like if I want
You
to
have
say
to
that
only
Lisa is
agree
also
to
correct.
one person. You only have to
Okay.
agree to one person. Don't go
Oh,
with both. If you go with both, खुद के points कुछ नहीं बचेंगे over there.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
so you
Okay.
only need to agree or disagree or add to the pointers only of one person over here. So you either go
Okay.
for Lisa or go for John. And that is also to just give you more points to write.
Okay.
Okay, otherwise you don't even need that, but you should because it's a conversation. It's a conversation or a discussion that you're doing over here. Correct?
Okay.
So you have to discuss with your classmates. So you
So,
will
ma'am,
need to
is it
make sure.
necessary to take the points of John, or we can write on our own, like what we
It's
think
necessary.
about that?
That's what I said. No, it's a discussion that you guys are doing, correct? So it's
Okay.
necessary that you take one pointer at least from one of them, either
Oh,
Lisa or John say, either first
oh,
person or the second classmate or the first classmate. कोई तो एक में से आपको point उठाना ही पड़ेगा. It's kind of necessary because it's a
oh.
discussion, right? So you need to build on, and it gives you also to add on something because कभी कभी हम लिखते लिखते we run out of points, correct? So
So
that's what helps
basically,
us.
it is an independent writing task with
Yeah,
few
it is.
words. Okay.
It is, it is. Okay, you don't need to, it's not integrated as such. Okay, so don't
Okay.
worry about that part. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, here I would say you had to give more of examples. That's what will help you. Yeah, over here. This kind of question. If it's an open-ended question, WH questions are called open-ended questions, and your yes and no questions, agree, disagree questions are called close-ended questions because you would either agree or disagree with it. Correct? That's the reason.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, today we'll be starting with lesson number 5 of listening first, and then we will move to writing lesson 5. Okay, we'll try to do that quickly. I want you guys to turn on your cameras quickly before that. Okay, great. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So, as I told you, we'll be starting with listening lesson 5. The name of the lesson is paintings. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about how to identify words or phrases that are commonly used to introduce definitions in an academic lecture because that is also very important for us. It is important even in speaking. In speaking, you might remember the last task that we have. It is only of giving examples. If you have gone through the prompt, which is there for speaking task number 4, it is only used to talk about examples, correct, and definitions over there. So that's where your definitions become important, and even in your listening tasks, it is very, very important. And then we are going to practice taking brief notes on these definitions and also get familiar with the question type which is necessary for us. Okay. In today's class, you have to pretend that you're going to visit a museum with your classmates to do some research for an assignment. That is what you have to pretend or act as, I would say. Okay, clear? First part over here, which we have, is the introduction of a painting. Over here, what you're going to do is you're going to listen to a short introduction of a painting first. Where is the audio? I had attached the audio. Just 1 minute. Huh. I couldn't see it. Okay, so you're going to listen to the short introduction of the painting first over there. Clear? Of course, you have to take notes. I don't need to highlight it and tell you guys. Correct? Ready?
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
Listen to a short introduction of a painting.
The Blue Boy is perhaps Gainsborough's most renowned piece of work, yet very little was known about it at the time. To this day, we can only guess the time and subject of the painting, because its origins have not been proven. A few certain facts about the painting are that, first, the painting was inspired by the work of the Dutch painter Anthony van Dyck. We can see this from the way the boy in the painting stands, as well as from his clothes. Second, the work was completed in a city called Bath, in England, and it was displayed at the Royal Academy in 1770. Finally, the painting was owned by its presumed subject, Mr. Jonathan Buddle, until 1796, when he had to sell it to pay for his debts.
Okay, clear?
Yes.
Now, next, you are now on the art museum tour, and you are going to hear a short lecture from the curator. Okay, and after that, I will be asking you few questions based on it. So make sure you take good notes. Okay, it's a little longer audio, so pay attention.
Listen to a museum curator talk about the importance of the color blue.
So, as you know, our new exhibit is all about blue. I mean the color blue. We have a vast collection of paintings that show the importance of the color throughout history. It shows how the color blue became common among painters. Nowadays, blue is a common color, appreciated by men and women alike, and used by many artists. However, blue colors aren't easily made. You cannot simply take the blue of the sky or the sea, grind it up, and then throw it on a canvas. Historically speaking, blue has been a difficult color to recreate. Actually, blue pigments were rare. Now, what I mean by pigment is any natural coloring material from an animal, plant, or something like a stone. Anyway, blue pigments are found in small amounts, so they carry a history of global trade and scientific invention. Now, some of you may know that the color blue first appeared in Egyptian paintings and sculptures. What is impressive about this fact is that the pigments used by Egyptians were artificially made. The Egyptians combined different materials to make blue-like colors. The recipe for blue was then passed on to the Greeks and Romans, but it was eventually lost during the Middle Ages. So, what did painters do to get blue pigments after the recipe was lost? Well, the only way artists could get blue pigments was by grinding up precious stones. Lapis lazuli is a deep blue stone from Afghanistan, and it made the ultramarine blue color. And another precious stone from France, known as azurite, made other shades of blue. One of the most popular shades that came from azurite was mountain blue. Like I said before, blue pigments were rare and very expensive. They were also very complicated to make. Basically, artists had to spend many hours turning stones into color. That couldn't have been easy. First, the stone was turned into powder. Then, melted wax, oils, and resin, or in other words, a sticky substance that comes from trees, were all added to the powder. Finally, artists had to wait patiently for the final color to show. It was a very long process for just a small amount of usable color. So, artists would try to get around this process. Some use very little blue in their paintings. Others use smalt. Smalt was a cheaper alternative to natural pigments, and it came from glass. And, well, many artists probably didn't use blue pigments at all in their work. After all, the color blue was a symbol of luxury and wealth, sometimes even more so than gold. Rich people used to display paintings with a lot of blue in them to show off their wealth. This practice was especially popular during the Renaissance period. The Renaissance refers to a period in European history that lasted from the 14th to the 17th century. Fun fact, art historians believe that the famous Italian Renaissance painter, Michelangelo, left one of his paintings unfinished because he could not afford to buy more lapis lazuli to make blue. Now, let's look at this painting from the 18th century, the Blue Boy from the English painter Gainsborough. You see a lot of blue in this painting, right? Some say that Gainsborough painted this portrait to win a bet. You know, someone challenged him to do something. The challenge was to use blue as the main color of a painting. As I said, it was uncommon to use a lot of blue pigments for paintings. However, as you can very well see, Gainsborough proved that person wrong. Luckily, modern painters did not have to go through such lengths to find blue pigments. In 1824, the French government sponsored some research. The government paid scientists and artists to find cheaper alternatives to traditional methods of making blue. A new process was finally found, and a synthetic substitute for lapis lazuli was created. This alternative had a great impact on the world of art. As you will see in the exhibition, 19th century artists made more and more use of ultramarine colors.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 1 second. Hmm. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. You have to try answering the questions. Ready? The first
Yes.
question, of course. What is the curator introducing?
It's a blue boy painting and
Mm-hmm.
a significant of blue color.
Significance of blue boy painting.
Blue
Okay.
boy painting.
Huh. The blue boy painting. Okay. The name is the blue boy painting.
Okay.
Hmm. Do you know the name of each painting, which you can see on the screen now?
Second one and third one.
You know the third one? Okay. I didn't know the
I
third one. Okay.
maybe it is Last Supper or I don't know.
No, this one
I'm
is
just
not the
guessing.
Last Supper. Last Supper is a little different.
Okay, okay.
Okay. What about the first one?
It's a blue boy.
The Blue Boy by
By Gainsbourg, maybe
Thomas Gainsborough.
Thomas
Okay.
Gainsbourg. Yes,
He
ma'am.
made it in 1779. What about the second one?
And Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci. Okay. The period is uncertain when he made it, but it is between 1503 to 1506. Okay.
Okay,
The last one is Las Meninas or the Girls in Waiting. It's by Diego Velázquez and it was made in 1656. Okay. Okay.
okay.
So, of course, he is introducing the first one that is the Blue Boy painting.
Blue.
Correct? Now, do you know the name of each painting? I just told you guys. What seems special or different about the first painting compared to the other two and why?
Use of blue color extensively.
Correct. And you might know
Extens.
blue color. Yeah, the blue color is not very, very natural in our
Yes.
environment. Correct? It doesn't occur naturally. Even the sky, it looks blue to us, but it is not an actual color that we can see. Correct? If you guys, I'm sure
Mhm.
Pranjali might know more about it because she's from designing background. But that's the little bit that I know. Pranjali, if you want to add on, you can add on, of course, if you have any pointers on blue as a color in nature. Okay, next part over here that we have is listening skills that we talk about, which is understanding the definitions. Now, in such kind of audios, like listening becomes very, very important for us. And along with that, understanding the definitions is very, very important for us, correct? A definition is basically a statement that explains the meaning of a word or a phrase that we are listening to, correct? And it is very, very important that we recognize and understand the definitions when listening so we will be able to interpret the answers that we want to interpret. Now, especially in academic contexts, in university level, we are going to listen to a lot of definitions on everyday basis, correct? They will help you to explain the terms which are given and even the unfamiliar concepts which might be for you. Now, when we are listening, we are supposed to pay attention to whenever the lecturer or the curator will tell us, okay, dash is dash dash dash. X refers to dash dash dash, or X refers to say something, and that X means what I mean by X is, in other words, so and so is known as X, and he will give you the definition. So these kind of definitions become very, very important for us, very, very necessary for us to note down, because उसपे एक question तो आएगा ही, you should know that. Now, when you take notes, we have already discussed this when we talked about taking note taking methods, correct? When you take notes, your notes can be very brief. Okay, your notes can be what you can see over here. They can be very, very brief. It is okay if the other person does not understand what you're trying to say, but you have to understand what you have written, because that is necessary for answering the questions. So your notes could be one letter, just some abbreviations, just some short forms, which you understand, which will give you the meaning that you are supposed to use to answer your questions which are necessary. And as I said, you can just use arrows also or symbols also to highlight or make your notes. Okay, that is very, very important over here. Next, how do we understand the definitions? Now, here we are going to listen to the part of the audio, and then you have to write down the definition terms which have been used over here. Okay, then you will also try to note down the phrases that you listen while giving the definitions. Okay, let's try it.
Listen to a museum curator talk about the importance of the color blue.
So, as you know, our new exhibit is all about blue. I mean the color blue. We have a vast collection of paintings that show the importance of the color throughout history. It shows how the color blue became common among painters. Nowadays, blue is a common color, appreciated by men and women alike, and used by many artists. However, blue colors aren't easily made. You cannot simply take the blue of the sky or the sea, grind it up, and then throw it on a canvas. Historically speaking, blue has been a difficult color to recreate. Actually, blue pigments were rare. Now, what I mean by pigment is any natural coloring material from an animal, plant, or something like a stone. Anyway, blue pigments are found in small amounts, so they carry a history of global trade and scientific invention. Now, some of you may know that the color blue first appeared in Egyptian paintings and sculptures. What is impressive about this fact is that the pigments used by Egyptians were artificially made. The Egyptians combined different materials to make blue-like colors. The recipe for blue was then passed on to the Greeks and Romans, but it was eventually lost during the Middle Ages. So, what did painters do to get blue pigments after the recipe was lost? Well, the only way artists could get blue pigments was by grinding up precious stones. Lapis lazuli is a deep blue stone from Afghanistan, and it made the ultramarine blue color. And another precious stone from France, known as azurite, made other shades of blue. One of the most popular shades that came from azurite was mountain blue. Like I said before, blue pigments were rare and very expensive. They were also very complicated to make. Basically, artists had to spend many hours turning stones into color. That couldn't have been easy. First, the stone was turned into powder. Then, melted wax, oils, and resin, or in other words, a sticky substance that comes from trees, were all added to the powder. Finally, artists had to wait patiently for the final color to show. It was a very long process for just a small amount of usable color. So, artists would try to get around this.
Okay, did you get the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
tell me the definitions of pigment and lapis lazuli.
Ma'am, pigment is any natural coloring material obtained from plant, animal, etc.
Okay, what about pigment, Pranjali? Pigment you told me, sorry, lapis lazuli.
Yes, ma'am.
Pranjali, what is the definition of lapis lazuli?
Mm, I didn't
You
hear that properly.
very good.
Deep blue stone,
Hamza, yes.
deep, deep blue stone from Afghanistan.
Okay, correct. Deep blue stone from Afghanistan, and it made the ultramarine blue color. Okay,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is
Yes,
also a
ma'am.
very necessary part of it. I have shared the script of it in the in the group. Just go through it once, Pranjali, see where you missed it. Now, here in the second part, you have to note down the words or phrases that were used to give the definitions in the clip that you listened to. For the same reason, I have shared the script of it. So your answer will be he used this phrase is correct to tell you about what the pigment is, and then he used is known as for giving the definition of lapis lazuli. Correct? So that's what becomes important for us. Clear? Now, next, while listening in TOEFL IBD task, it is important that we pay attention to the words or concepts which are introduced by the professor. It's very, very important. It's very, very necessary so that we pay attention to it and we are able to answer the questions because the way I said, especially 8 questions, so aega hi aega. Okay. These words or concepts may be written on the board, which you can see on the screen, or it will be said in the lecture. Only major points will be asked, no minor detail will be asked in such kind of questions. They won't ask you in which year this painting was made or which year lapis lazuli was found. ऐसे questions नहीं पूछेंगे. ठीक है? A common question in the test that you might see is given on the screen. According to the professor, what can scientists learn by examining ancient phytoliths? Okay, so your answer will be according to the audio that you listen to. Clear? Any confusion over here?
Clear.
Okay. Now, over here, you're going to listen to the audio again and make notes. And of course, I'm going to ask you few comprehension questions based on it. And of course, I will be asking you few definitions also. So make notes accordingly. Okay, clear? Ready?
Listen to a museum curator talk about the importance of the color blue.
So, as you know, our new exhibit is all about blue. I mean the color blue. We have a vast collection of paintings that show the importance of the color throughout history. It shows how the color blue became common among painters. Nowadays, blue is a common color, appreciated by men and women alike, and used by many artists. However, blue colors aren't easily made. You cannot simply take the blue of the sky or the sea, grind it up, and then throw it on a canvas. Historically speaking, blue has been a difficult color to recreate. Actually, blue pigments were rare. Now, what I mean by pigment is any natural coloring material from an animal, plant, or something like a stone. Anyway, blue pigments are found in small amounts, so they carry a history of global trade and scientific invention. Now, some of you may know that the color blue first appeared in Egyptian paintings and sculptures. What is impressive about this fact is that the pigments used by Egyptians were artificially made. The Egyptians combined different materials to make blue-like colors. The recipe for blue was then passed on to the Greeks and Romans, but it was eventually lost during the Middle Ages. So, what did painters do to get blue pigments after the recipe was lost? Well, the only way artists could get blue pigments was by grinding up precious stones. Lapis lazuli is a deep blue stone from Afghanistan, and it made the ultramarine blue color, and another precious stone from France, known as azurite, made other shades of blue. One of the most popular shades that came from azurite was mountain blue. Like I said before, blue pigments were rare and very expensive. They were also very complicated to make. Basically, artists had to spend many hours turning stones into color. That couldn't have been easy. First, the stone was turned into powder. Then, melted wax, oils, and resin, or in other words, a sticky substance that comes from trees, were all added to the powder. Finally, artists had to wait patiently for the final color to show. It was a very long process, for just a small amount of usable color. So, artists would try to get around this process. Some use very little blue in their paintings. Others use smalt. Smalt was a cheaper alternative to natural pigments, and it came from glass. And, well, many artists probably didn't use blue pigments at all in their work. After all, the color blue was a symbol of luxury and wealth, sometimes even more so than gold. Rich people used to display paintings with a lot of blue in them to show off their wealth. This practice was especially popular during the Renaissance period. The Renaissance refers to a period in European history that lasted from the 14th to the 17th century. Fun fact, art historians believe that the famous Italian Renaissance painter, Michelangelo, left one of his paintings unfinished because he could not afford to buy more lapis lazuli to make blue. Now, let's look at this painting from the 18th century, The Blue Boy from the English painter Gainsborough. You see a lot of blue in this painting, right? Some say that Gainsborough painted this portrait to win a bet. You know, someone challenged him to do something. The challenge was to use blue as the main color of a painting. As I said, it was uncommon to use a lot of blue pigments for paintings. However, as you can very well see, Gainsborough proved that person wrong. Luckily, modern painters did not have to go through such lengths to find blue pigments. In 1824, the French government sponsored some research. The government paid making blue. A new process was finally found, and a synthetic substitute for lapis lazuli was created. This alternative had a great impact on the world of art. As you will see in the exhibition, 19th century artists made more and more use of ultramarine colors.
Okay, clear? Ready to answer the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Here you have the first few questions. Write definitions for the following terms.
But ma'am, it is not provided in the paragraph, like listening part.
It is, it is. It was, I
Okay,
guess.
okay.
Because there is only one audio, there is no other audio attached to this.
Okay.
It was mentioned, but was mentioned very briefly. That's why you guys must have not taken notes. Renaissance is also mentioned.
No,
Painting
ma'am.
is also mentioned.
Actually, I'm not getting the bet part, like the last bet.
Bet.
I
Okay.
don't know, yeah, where
Okay.
the
In the
curator had
last
put.
part, he was asked to make this painting as a bet. That's where
Ah,
he mentioned it.
okay, 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 okay.
Okay. And we know the meaning of bet. हम bet
Yeah,
खेलते हैं ना
understood,
किसी के
ma'am.
साथ में हाँ वो वाला bet है वो. In the last paragraph, he
Done.
mentioned that.
Yes, done.
Hmm. Someone challenged him to do something. That's what he said. Pranjali, did you get the answers?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Second, what is impressive about the use of color blue in Egyptian paintings and sculptures? Write it down. Do the number three also quickly. Of course, we'll discuss the answers, but first answer all the questions. Okay. Tell me once you're done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Number four and five.
Done.
Then
Yes, ma'am.
next.
Done.
Okay, last bonus quiz.
Done.
Okay, Pranjali.
Yes, done, ma'am.
Okay, great. Tell me the answer to the first one, Hamza, quickly.
Ma'am, because the Egyptian painting, the
First
impressive.
one. Definitions.
Okay, you're talking about resin.
First, reason. Yeah.
Sticky substance.
Okay, that comes from trees. Hmm.
Yes,
A sticky substance that comes from trees. Pranjali, smalt. What is the definition of smalt?
Um,
No,
didn't
no,
find
not
in
not
paragraph.
that. Okay. Hamza, what about you?
ma'am, it is like a cheaper alternative for natural pigment.
It came from glass. Okay.
Yeah, it came.
Hmm.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. हाँ, पहले का आंसर करेक्ट था उसमें एड ऑन इट केम फ्रॉम ग्लास ओके
Okay.
प्रांजलि व्हाट इज रेनेसांस
Don't know, ma'am.
Period from 14th to 17th century.
okay in European history that lasted
Okay.
from 14th to 17th century and Pranjali what is bet
The
when
art
someone
piece that.
challenges you to do something that's a bet
Okay.
okay Hamza did you get the answer or no
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
okay make sure you try to redo this part again okay for homework
Okay.
both of you
Okay.
number two what is impressive about the use of color blue in Egyptian paintings and sculptures.
Because they have made artificial color.
They have made it artificially. Okay, they have
Yes.
made it artificially. Number three, could artists produce artificially made blue in ancient Greece and Rome? Why or why not?
Uh,
Hmm.
ma'am, no, because the recipe
Yes,
was lost.
yes,
Uh,
the
n-
recipe for blue was passed on to the Greeks and Romans.
Sorry.
Hmm,
After Greece, it was lost. Sorry.
hmm.
Yes, correct.
Okay, next. Painters did all of the following to get blue pigments after the recipe was lost, except
C.
C.
turn rare flowers into powder.
Powder.
Okay. Very good. According to the lecture, what would have been the general attitude of most artists towards using blue in their artwork before the 19th century?
B.
B.
Reluctant. Okay, very good. According to the lecture, what is one assumption about why Michelangelo left one of his paintings unfinished?
Because blue color was not available and lapis lazuli, like he could not find or he could not buy lapis lazuli for
He
his
could not
last painting.
afford to buy. He could
He
not
could not, yeah,
afford
he
to
could not
buy
afford to buy.
more lapis lazuli to make blue color. Okay.
Yes.
Why does the curator mention the story of Michelangelo's unfinished painting?
C.
C.
To highlight how rare and precious lapis lazuli was. ऐसे टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. Last one. What did the French government do in 1824? What impact did this action have on the world of art?
French government sponsored research on
Hmm.
blue color, and due to this, the synthetic
To find
substance,
cheaper alternatives to traditional methods of making glue.
yeah,
Hmm.
and the effect was that synthetic substance of lapis lazuli is created.
Okay, very good. The exact answer given over here is the French government paid the scientists and artists to find cheaper alternatives to find traditional method, sorry, find cheaper alternatives to traditional methods of making blue. A new process was found as a result, and this alternative had a great impact on the world of art. More ultramarine colors were used in the 19th century. Okay.
Okay.
That
Okay.
would be your exact answer. But of course, after the MCQ आता है, so you don't need to worry about that part as such. But you need to make sure that you take notes appropriately, especially definitions. के. Okay, don't miss out on those
Okay.
definitions. Even though they are being mentioned in one line, you could get those questions. And आपके speaking के लिए is very very important for your speaking task 4 because you will need to include all these definitions and examples in your answer in speaking. Okay, in
Okay.
question number 4. So that's where you will need to make sure that you include this as an answer properly. Clear? We are
Yes,
done
ma'am.
with listening task or listening lesson. We'll move to writing lesson, but I hope you guys have time, correct? Do you have any
Yes.
other commitments, guys?
No,
No.
ma'am.
Okay, okay. We'll hardly take 20 minutes to 30 minutes more. Next lesson that we have is the writing lesson, which is lesson number 5, living abroad. Yeah. Here we'll be looking at how to recognize some common words and phrases that indicate cause and effect of something. Then we'll also look at how to write a paragraph. That's something that we have already looked at, but we'll still go through it and become familiar with some writing task sets that we have. And we'll also look at the tenses. Though we have already looked at it, we'll look at the differences over here and how to use it appropriately in a writing task. Now, over here, the first warm-up part that you have in writing is in which countries can you find these sites? You have to write the names of the countries in your notebook quickly.
Done, ma'am.
Done? So fast?
Yes.
Okay. Pranjali, what about you?
Yeah, done, ma'am.
Okay, tell me the answers then.
Ma'am, first one is Mount Fuji, Japan. Second one is Big Ben, London. Third one is uh, the United States Statue of Liberty.
Okay. And number 4, Pranjali,
Rome, ma'am.
Yes,
it's Rome, Italy. Very
close.
good. Next, how are these countries different from your own country?
Ma'am, I can give answer for one,
Yeah,
the first part.
tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, actually, Japan is different from India because of the cleanliness they offer
Mm-hmm.
and very good sanitation
Okay.
in the country. Yes, ma'am. And they are very disciplined, like in their daily life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that
Pranjali.
these are the major
Mm-hmm.
differences. Like,
Okay. Pranjali, what about you?
Ma'am, London is different from India because of their great architecture and technology and environment.
Environment. Environment. Hmm. Okay. What else? That's it? Okay.
Yes.
Would you go to any of these countries to study or live? If not, where would you like to go and why?
yes, ma'am. Basically, we are preparing for TOEFL examination, so yes,
Of
we
course.
want to settle. Yeah.
But which
So
country?
I'll choose United States.
Okay. Pranjali,
Yes.
what about you?
Yes, ma'am. I'll choose United States.
Okay, मुझे भी साथ लेके चलो please. Okay, got it. Next, over here, we have the next part. Here, you have to read the sentences which are given below and answer the questions which are given. Okay. First question is how are the two sentences different in the structure and how does the different structure change their meaning?
Ma'am, one is affirmative and second one is like negative.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And how does it change the meaning?
Like first is talking about the pros and second is talking about the cons.
Mm-hmm. Pranjali,
Yes,
what do you think?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Same.
Okay. Now, that's what we look at over here, the present perfect tense. Okay. Basically, what you said is correct over here. It doesn't change the, like, it changes from positive to negative, basically. Okay. And that is how it does not change the essential meaning, but we are trying to say the same thing in a different way, basically, over here. Correct? Now we look at the present perfect tense over here and how to use the present perfect tense. I hope you guys remember we had already gone through the uses. We used present perfect tense to talk about something that happened in the past, but it is connected to the present or it has some kind of an impact on the present. Okay. Again, we can also use present perfect tense to talk about something that happened in the past as a life experience, but we do not give any specific time period with it as such. Okay. For example, I have been to Europe 3 times. I have been to Europe 3 times. So I'm saying I went to Europe 3 times in my life up until now. In addition to his 10 successful albums, the singer has also appeared in several movies. So here we are talking about the life experience. As a life experience, the singer acted in a several movies over the course of his career. That's what we are trying to say over here. Correct? Next usage that we have is something that started in the past and still continues till now. Then we can use our present perfect tense again. I have lived in Beijing for 10 years. I started living 10 years ago and I'm still living here now. Sometimes we can also use it to talk about something that happened very recently, and that's where we use the word just. I have just finished my paper. मतलब अभी अभी मैंने complete किया है. So we will use the word just, and we will not use the word already, but just. Okay. If we change the word, then the sentence, the meaning of the sentence changes basically. That's what we need to remember. Clear? We have already gone through this before, so you guys know. Now you have a quick exercise over here. Try doing it. Based on present perfect tense, of course. Use either the past tense, which we have also looked at in the past, and present perfect tense. Use it appropriately. Use the verbs in the correct form again.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, Pranjali, tell me once. Tell me the answers quickly. Guys, tell me the answers quickly.
Ma'am, last night I lost my keys, so I called
Uh-huh.
my roommate to open the door for me. Lost and found.
Very good. Number two, Pranjali.
I went to Paris 3 times.
I have been to Paris 3 times. I have been to Paris. Went कैसे आएगा? Went verb be का past tense नहीं है. Went is the past tense form of the verb go. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. I have been to Paris 3 times. Number three, Hamza.
Ariel cannot join us because she is not in town. She has gone to London to study.
She went to
Or she
London.
went she went to London to study.
Hmm.
Yeah, both.
She went would be better.
Ma'am, went is better or has gone?
Went is better.
Okay.
Okay. Number four,
I have booked the tickets for Barcelona. I'm so
Barcelona. Barcelona.
Barcelona. I'm so
Hmm.
excited now.
Very good. Number five, Hamza.
She lives here since she born.
She has
Since
lived.
she was she since she was born.
She has lived here since she was born.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Number six, my family has gone to Italy every summer since I was a child. Seven, graduates who have studied abroad. Okay. And number
Okay.
eight, the university tuition has risen
Has
5%. Okay, clear? Okay.
ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, I have a doubt in fifth one.
Tell me.
She lives here or
नहीं
no, the fifth
उन्होंने
fifth.
जस्ट यहाँ नहीं वेट वेट उन्होंने यहाँ पर जस्ट रूल बताया ना समथिंग दैट स्टार्टेड इन द पास्ट एंड स्टिल कंटिन्यूज नाउ वी कैन स्टिल यूज इट लाइक कर सकते हैं यूज बट इट वुड साउंड इनकरेक्ट we can use present
Okay.
continuous tense also, we can use simple present tense also, and we can use present perfect tense also to say the same
Okay.
sentence over here which is given, which is number five.
I
She
know you
lives
told
here.
about the present indefinite
Hmm.
tense, na. So
Since
we
हाँ present perfect ठीक है.
okay,
हाँ
okay,
सो प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट भी यूज कर सकते हैं, प्रेजेंट सिंपल प्रेजेंट भी यूज कर सकते हैं, प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस भी यूज कर सकते हैं टू से द सेम थिंग बट हियर वी आर यूजिंग सिंस ना. सो सिंस है
okay,
उस वजह से आपका प्रेजेंट परफेक्ट टेंस आता है.
Okay.
Okay,
okay,
but to give the same meaning, we can use other tenses also. Okay, we can use them
okay,
interchangeably. But the way I said, try to stick to your simple present tense. It becomes better. You can get confused with other tenses. Okay, remember
okay.
that. Hmm. Now, here we talk about travel and study. Here is an opinion by Daniel, okay, about studying abroad for the campus. He has written this in the campus newspaper called Travel and Study. Read it quickly. It is continued on the next slide.
Done.
Done? Okay. Next slide.
Done.
Okay. Now, if you must have observed, here he's talking about causes and the effects of those causes in this passage. That is what we are going to see, how to use effects in a sentence and how to give causes of it. When we talk about a situation that makes another situation happen, we can use phrases which we use to show cause and effect of something basically. Okay. A cause is basically the reason why something is happening, and effect is the repercussion of it. An effect is something that happens because of something else. It is the result of the cause. So if I say the flight was cancelled because of the storm, so effect is कि the flight was cancelled किस वजह से हुआ है? Because of the thunderstorm. Okay, so we can use the phrases due to, because, since, as, for, consequently to talk about these things. Okay, to give causes and effects of something. Clear? These phrases are important. Make sure you make a note of them. Now, in this exercise which follows, you have to try using the phrases that we just looked at. Okay, to introduce the cause or the effect of something. Tell me once you're done. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first one is pretty easy. We can travel the world and learn about new cultures. You can say thanks to study abroad programs. You can use the phrase thanks to also over here. Okay. He has lived in France for 10 years, but he cannot speak French
Because he never tried to learn it.
because he never tried it. Okay. Number three, you may not have familiar people and things around when you move to a new country. What's the answer? As a result, you might feel
As
lonely and
yes,
homesick
ma'am.
at first. As a result, okay. Number four,
Yes.
due to or
Due to.
because of, दोनों में से एक यूज कर सकते हो. Due to
Okay.
or because of my intensive study schedule, I do not have much time to go out and visit the city. And the last one, he studied the Spanish at
Consequently.
university. So
Consequently.
consequently, hmm, so भी आ सकता है, consequently भी आ सकता है.
Okay.
He has decided to move to Spain for work. Very good. Now, whenever you give responses in your writing as well as speaking, it is important to use such cause and effect statements so it will make sure that the examiner, the test assessor that you have in your test, will be able to understand that you can present your ideas properly and you can explain your ideas in a clear and logical manner. Okay, by introducing these causes and consequences of a phenomenon, you can form an argument, a logical argument, which will make your thoughts flow easily. Along with that, it will become easier for the other person to understand your thoughts. easily. Okay, so that's what you should know, and you should make sure that you use such kind of phrases. Next, over here, some phrases are given. You have to add an effect to it. Add effect or cause to it. Okay, try it out. Done,
Yes, ma'am.
Pranjali?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me your answers because your answers will vary over here.
Ma'am, after studying abroad, a lot of young people become more confident in themselves because they improve their communication skills.
Sorry, please repeat the sentence.
After studying abroad, a lot of young people become more confident in themselves because they have improved their communication skills.
Okay. You can also say because they are more likely to be competitive in the job market. हो सकता है एक effect. Okay, it's not the right answer. It's not the only right answer. It can also be one of the effect. Okay. Mm, number two, Pranjali.
It can be hard to make new friends in country where people speak a different language. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
This may lead to feelings of loneliness and difficulty in adjusting new culture.
Okay. Or you can also say, therefore, life can be a little boring. Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay,
The answer was correct, but to add to it. Number three,
okay.
Hamza.
Studying abroad allows you to recognize cultural differences, and
Mm-hmm.
as a result, uh, and as a result, uh, interaction with people from diverse culture have become more respectful and meaningful.
Can become more respectful. You can become
Oh,
open-minded. वो भी
okay.
add कर सकते हो. Okay, number four.
We have a more independent personality after studying abroad. As a cause, living in
Because
new.
As opposed to because.
Because living in new country forces us to make decision on our own
Mm-hmm.
and manage daily responsibilities.
Okay, very good. Number five.
Because of studying abroad, I cannot contact my old friends frequently.
Okay. Also because of time difference, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Last one. Finally.
So I need to spend more time reviewing my notes after class because the lectures are fast and I need extra time to understand the material properly.
Hmm. I sometimes find it difficult to follow teachers in the class. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. Just 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून सर मैं दुसऱ्या नंबरवरनं कॉल करते या नंबरवरती ना आवाज नाही येत व्यवस्थित एक मला 2 मिनिटं द्या मी कॉल बॅक करते तुम्हाला हा या done with this. Now, what you guys have to do is one topic, one line has been given to you over here. You have to use the same line and try to agree or disagree with it, of course, and add your reasons and pointers in the table which has been given. And then, of course, you have to write a paragraph on it, which should be around 120 to 130 words. Okay, that is your task. I will give you 10 minutes for it because that's the time that you get in your actual test also, right? So I'll give you 10 minutes. You have to come up with the reasons why you agree or disagree with it. And then, of course, do not forget to make your statements with the cause and effect. Do you guys want 10 minutes or you will do it for homework if you guys are getting late? Guys, tell me quick.
For homework.
Okay, Hamza, do you want to finish it for homework? Hamza is already gone. That's why I'm asking. Hamza already चला गया. Okay, okay, guys, finish it for homework. Okay, but make sure you send it to me by end of the day so that I
No,
can
ma'am,
review it.
I'm here only. I'm here
Okay.
only. I know.
Okay, no problem. Finish it for
Yeah.
homework. Make sure you
Okay.
use cause and effects properly and try to elaborate your answers in this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, guys, I will
Okay.
see you tomorrow. Be regular because next week again I have my exams, okay, guys? So I might take
Okay.
your sessions, but I will take it in the evening. But again, in evening, you guys are very irregular. Okay, okay. So that's why I want to finish most of the things in this week. Again, Friday is the holiday for Holi. So please be regular. Let's finish off most of the portion because next week only test prep will be there. Like we won't be covering lessons. We would be mostly
Okay.
focusing on our test, on how to attempt our questions, what are the do's and don'ts, what are the last moment tips and tricks that we have. That's what we would be going through along with the mock tests. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, ma'am.
So that's what you should remember. We have to finish most of the lessons in this week. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
guys. No problem then. I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Bye
ma'am.
bye.
Thank you,
Have a
ma'am.
great day ahead. Bye bye.